Poem is about something that happened 31 years ago when I was here, the 1982 All-Ireland Fleadh. Remember that weekend in late August '82 when we in All-Ireland were young, as we drove south into the night from Dublin to Listowel in your light blue Ford Fiesta for the 1982 Fleadh Ceol. Remember our circular odyssey through pubs and street sessions, scouting for music and stories from northern counties and countries, stopping off in John B's to see a man with a gift for listening as he attended to all around him. In the corner of the teeming square, Brian McMahon stood tall, the village schoolmaster and author, absorbing the colour and sound of the Fleadh, pondering the arrival of another class. His long silhouette competing in stature with the looming shadow of St. John's steeple. Remember that Saturday night marquee ceilidh and the music of champions? That was the year of the Longridge. The atmosphere kinetic as they tuned up, and we looked towards a girl from Athea, a teacher in training with an eye for fashion and a smile that brightened a harvest night. As the MC called the first dance, you sprung from the traps, scaling walls of Limerick and Kerryman, timing the long walk to perfection to lead her across the floor. And when she danced, man, she could dance. You returned with a glow and a grin as we awaited the next call, and I summoned courage. You said quietly, "She's from Athea, a good 8 country miles away." "The moon is bright," I responded, "bright enough for a walk to West Limerick." Later, she and I danced to the strains of the Tennessee Waltz, gliding across the floor, taking the moment, knowing I didn't have a Ford Fiesta or a crossbar to see her home, wondering silently if she might welcome pen friend in Dublin. We never asked, either of us. Returning to the square in the small hours, a man was singing Spansel Hill, McMahon still standing statue-like, absorbing the changing mood of the night, chatting now with Jimmy Deanahan on crutches, both wondering, would Kerry make 5 in a row? Years after, when McMahon stood no more, they inscribed his name and words in that same spot, guided by the shadow of his hand. I still read him and John B, and return in my dreams to the road to Athea, wondering if she is now a grandmother.
And I wrote this when I was 15. It's called The Beggar Woman. There she sits on the dirty steps of the street, with pain and heartache from her head to her feet. But still she sits and begs, no strength in her legs. As she holds out her cup and shakes, inside her heart breaks. But still she sits and begs. She bows her head down, covering her tear-stained face. No love in her life, no one to embrace. Her children have been sent away, and although she fights for money, there is no way. Her husband drinks all day, and so her children could not stay. But still she sits and begs. Any money she makes she must give to the man, but that poor beggar woman, she has a plan. One day, when she has strength, she'll run away, flee a good length. She will free her children from this life, and she will no longer be that man's wife. Each day she dreams of this, her head bent low, and she knows she has a long way to go. But still she sits and begs. As evening rolls in, she feels the cold. She knows what is coming, she is getting old. She lies down on the cobblestone steps of the street, but soon her husband comes around. He sees her and beats her on the ground. He shouts and curses, but she takes no notice. She closes her eyes and loses focus. She thinks of her children, and a tear falls from her eye. To her children she hums a small lullaby. Then as she takes her final breath, realising this is death, she takes one last look at the man she once loved, and she turns to the angels from above. Her tears fade along with her pain, and she looks down at what remains. A sad man and dirty steps in the street, where this woman used to sit and beg.
They suffer the same fate that I have. I joined the writers group in Kiloglan, and because that group has also been hit by that book, they call themselves the Inflictors, and inflict pieces every week when they actually meet. A friend of mine, Tim Paul, was a regular visitor here to Listowel. Though he was an Englishman, I forget him, and invited him like one of our own. 10 years he came here, and 10 years he enjoyed coming here, and he enjoyed doing all the workshops that were here. Unfortunately, 4 months ago, Tim passed away. He was booked in for a workshop, and his brother very kindly donated a workshop to one of the other members. And that member is Angus O'Dea, who's here now. And Angus is enjoying that course. Because Tim was not a religious man, he didn't have the funeral as such. He had a celebration of life. And his friends, companions, those who knew him, met, talked about him, told stories about him, sang songs and poems for about 3.5 hours. It was the most beautiful funeral that I have ever been at, and I certainly would like something to say when I go. Take note of that. During the celebration of life, a friend of his wrote a piece, and I'm going to read this for you. It's called Valentine's Day. June the 1st, 1985, Compassion in World Farming Conference, Birmingham. A tall guy with glasses says, "Hello." A few days later, a phone call. "What are you doing next weekend? Would you like to go on a bike ride?" "Why not?" "It's 110 miles. London to Brighton. A Sea Shepherd demo to stop the killing of whales. 110 miles, not a chance. You'll be one of those fast guys, and I'll be left sitting on the road behind." "Not really," he says. "Actually, I don't even own a bike." So he came to Norwich, bought a bike, and we did our 110 miles for Wales. That's what Tim was like, a bit batty, a gentle, kind giant. He was 6'3". I remember he wrote a free Nelson Mandela t-shirt up for the trip, a social conscience second to none. We lived together in Kent for 4 years. His passions were animal aid, NAVs, BUASB. He was a member of the Vegan Society, on saboteurs. The number of demos we went on, leaflets we hand out, and horses we chased trying to stop the hunting of foxes back in the days when we were younger and fitter. Half marathons he used to run regularly, but he wasn't so fast. He would stop if he saw a worm on the road to pick it up and put it on the ground. "I thought I was going to catch you, mate," says one of the fellow runners when I saw him picking up those worms, but he didn't catch them. The animal sanctuary too we visited. He spent a whole day painting one fence. He always wanted a pig. Our garden wasn't big enough for pigs. He started a business with my sisters, carrots, vegan takeaway. It would make us a fortune, but it never turned out right that way. He also sang in Athea, a unique version of the Green song, called it a Japanese song. He was a lovely man. He was a lovely person. He was a good friend. I miss him. Thank you very much.